We all know 2/3 of Americans are overweight, but what's troubling is the growing problem of young people in America, children and teens who are obese, perhaps setting themselves up for a lifetime of health and weight issues. What effect will this have on America as we become a nation of fat kids and fat people? Today we'll talk to someone who's trying to do something about the problem. Celebrity fitness model and actor Christian Boeving is here. He's founded sports camps for children to promote health and fitness for young people. Plus, later in the show, actor and fitness model Jeff Gum will be here. Great to have you back today, Christian.
Good to be back. Thank you, Jay.
So what's going on with these little kids? I thought young people are hyper and active and running around.
That was us. That was us. Unfortunately, what's happened now are kids, when you talk to kids, I travel all over the world now. Luckily, I'm able to do seminars in different places and do them on different subjects. If I'm at a gym, I'll do a seminar more on health and fitness, but for an adult level. But then I'll go that day to a school, depending on where I am. If it's Thailand, if it's the United States, if it's the UK, it doesn't matter. And I go to the lunchroom and I look at what they're eating. 9 times out of 10, it's nothing. It's just
garbage.
Garbage. It's garbage.
Nutritionally garbage.
How do we expect our kids to actually have the thinking capacity to go beyond that day?
As you travel around and go to all those places, are you seeing a lot of fat little kids?
Not as much as the United States, sadly.
So the United States
is really bad here. It's really bad here. And then I'll do something where I do a little seminar in the lunchroom and I say, okay, how many of you kids on MySpace? And I'll just start with the whole MySpace thing. Everybody raises their hand, of course. I'm on MySpace.
You are?
And I am.
You're on my MySpace.
We're on MySpace. And I say, okay, how many friends do you have? And they say, one kid says 3,000, and one kid says 1,000. And I said, I have a lot myself, but do you know what, when I was your age, I had 5 friends. I knew what they looked like in person. I played kickball with them. We built tree houses together. Your friends aren't friends that are on MySpace. Those are people that, you know, Susie might be 11 years old and likes to play with dolls. She really might be Kenny, who's 54 years old, sitting in his underpants talking to you. That's one problem. But because the problem is, and believe it or not, that is related to the obesity problem.
Sure.
Kids are just sitting there all day in front of the computer. These are friends now. Your friends aren't the kids you go outside and play with. Kids don't go outside and play. They play on the computer games, on MySpace, on all these different things that keep popping up.
So computers, Nintendo, well, video games.
What is it now? I know, it was Nintendo for us. Now it's like Xbox or something.
And PlayStation, they hit all 3 of them. And TV, sitting around watching TV.
That's it. Well, the problem is, too, is the economy isn't exactly wonderful right now. So parents have to work 2 and 3 jobs. The kids learn from the parents. The parents have to set the example. Now, with the obesity problem, at the point it is, we have to go backwards before we can go forwards. We cannot say, okay, what's the magic pill that's going to work today? There isn't one anymore. We have got to go backwards. We have to look at where this started.
Right.
This starts in the home. There is no get-rich-quick scheme. There is no magic pill that's going to make you lose weight. If it is, it's going to hurt you. You have got to eat sensibly, and the parents have got to show the kids that they're going to do that themselves, because kids are going to say, I can't have McDonald's, but you're having McDonald's.
Right,
Forget it.
right,
I want McDonald's too. You've got to start there.
The figures I've heard are what, 20% of kids?
No. It's much. That's the survey they put out. Sure. I promise you, I go to schools all the time. If it's not 50 to 60%, I'm crazed. Yeah, I promise you, it's 50 to 60%. I remember when I was a kid in school, I was really, really skinny. And I hate admitting this, but everybody would make fun of the fat kid in class. Now it's kind of like everybody makes fun of the skinny kid in class.
Fat kid in class.
You know, it's true. And it's like, and when I do these seminars, I'll say, you know, when somebody is fat, and everyone will raise their hand and they'll say, it's not fat, it's a genetic problem, it's this, it's that. We got to be honest.
Kids are learning, the PR spin already.
It's not a genetic problem. Some people do, yes, they do have the thyroid problem, but it's not that. It's a lazy problem.
Lazy problem.
We have got to get out. If you take this many calories in, you have to burn that many calories or more to stay in shape. It's a simple fact.
Now, you talk about the fat kid, or we know maybe somebody that went through a phase, or the chubby teen or something lost as an adult.
That's different, yeah.
But are we talking, though, I mean, really, are we setting people up for a lifetime then? If like the whole generation or a big percentage is growing up fat.
It's a very short lifetime.
What happens, right, because what happens? Type 2 diabetes.
What's happening right now as we speak, like our generation, we were out playing kickball and building tree houses, correct? Yeah. The next generation are the chubbier kids now. Those kids are being born with type 2 diabetes and child cellulite, which should be physiologically impossible. It's not supposed to be able to happen. Those kids are going to die at 30 and 35 years old, 40 years old, of heart attacks and things like that. They're going to have angioplasty and all these different things that people aren't supposed to have until they're much, 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 much older. Now they're going to have it in their 20s and their 30s. What about their kids? Now what's going to happen with that? We won't get into the whole healthcare crisis and all that, but as bad as that is now, what's going to happen 10 years from now when these kids do have that problem?
Because you think about people, you know, worried about old age and when things stop working or things, but these are kids coming out of the starting gate facing some of the problems that most people generally wouldn't have expected until later in life.
If at all. Right. If at all. I mean, if you take care of yourself, a lot of people wouldn't have diabetes. 60% of the people that have diabetes don't even know it right now. That's what's also scary. People aren't health conscious enough to even realize what it feels like to be healthy, what it feels like to get up out of bed in the morning and have a lot of energy and to face the day and to be thinking clearly and to go to bed at night and have a good night's sleep. Most people don't even know what that feels like anymore. And that should be a given for us. Right. That should just be a given. And the other problem with obesity is people are depressed now. What's the word I'm looking for here? The amount of depressed people is rapidly growing, as we all know. A lot of that is due to the obesity problem as well. You cannot feel good about yourself. Yep. Now what happens though is food is a comfort. When you eat food, when you take in sugar,
it tastes good, it feels good.
But also, it feels really good because the same endorphins are released during sex that are released while you eat sugar. That becomes addicting. It's an easy fix, but then you start to crash and you want more and more and more, and the time people eat that is late at night. It's the wrong time to eat it. If you're gonna eat it earlier in the day when it's gonna get burned up. Not at night before you go to bed and you're sedentary and you're lying there. That's when it's gonna become absorbed even more.
Obviously, from looking at you, I think you know what you're talking about.
Thank you. It's a shadowing in here. I like your studio.
And if you went through that, well, you said you were a skinny kid, so we know you didn't go through the fat phase, but you turned out okay as an adult.
Thank you, thank you.
But, so you're trying to be part of the solution to this. You've set up these sports camps.
We're setting them up as we speak, actually. What we're trying to do is just build an awareness on how easy it is to be physically fit. When you say the words diet, it's not a scary word. Diet does not mean, oh no, I can never have bad food again. I eat junk food every week. Once a week I have the cheat day. We've talked about that before. Yeah. And I mean, if they want to read it, if people want to look it up online, it's all over the place, the cheat day diet. But I have that every week. I have anything I want on that cheat day every week, but I eat sensibly all the rest of the week. The thing is, diet is not a dirty word. Right. Diet simply means eating healthy and teaching kids that that's what that means, and teaching kids how much better it feels to play outside and not sit inside. And sit
so that's part of it, getting the kids to be more active.
It's more of a fun thing. It's more of showing a child what it's like to be a child, because I think children are almost forgetting. How many kids go outside and play now? I mean, I live in a residential neighborhood in California, and most kids, I don't think I've seen a kid all summer playing outside, really. Wow. I see them at the beach maybe, but that's not the same thing.
They're inside on the computer or
on MySpace. I know. I'm probably talking on MySpace. Yeah. But we've got to teach those kids where to start. We've got to take them from ground zero and let them build the foundation. You can't build a house without having a good foundation, and we just really want to take these kids and build a foundation. And the people I'm working with are all really, they're leaders in the sport as well. I don't want to say any names just yet because nobody's on paper as of right now. Sure. But the people we've got 7 individuals. They're the top in their field. And it's going to be incredible. It's really going to be incredible. And I think the kids will end up teaching the parents, is what we're hoping. The kids are going to come home and go, you know what, Mom? I don't want McDonald's tonight. Can we have, chicken or a yam or something good? I won't go as far as to say let's have broccoli, because I don't think any kid will ever want broccoli.
You gotta hate broccoli if you're a kid.
I hated broccoli. I love it now, but I hated it then. But we've got to teach these children.
I used to hate oatmeal as a kid, and I actually like it now.
Oh, oatmeal. Oatmeal is the best carbohydrate in the world.
I used to hate oatmeal. And cream of wheat, oh my God, I'd die if you gave me that stuff.
Really?
Now. Yeah.
You like cream of wheat now, though?
I do.
Cream of wheat is like chocolate to me now. It's sick. Wow. What's wrong with me? Cream of wheat, who would have thought?
Are there anything for kids, for nutritional needs? Is there something different for that you need to be aware of for kids than adults? Really,
kids, you got to think of a child as they're growing rapidly. So the more healthy food you're going to put into them, it's like your car. If you get a brand new car and you put bad gas in it, it's never going to run right. If you take a child and you put bad food in him, he's never going to grow right. If you look at the history of human beings, 100 years ago, the average height was about 5'2", 5'3". Then we got up to 6'1", and you have these giants that are 6'7". Now we're starting to shrink down again. The bones are more brittle. The skin is more white and translucent. The muscle tissue is not quite there. We're already changing our genetics a little bit. Now what happens with disease is the reason we're so hard to track as a disease, the reason we can't be wiped out is because a disease will sit there and they read us like a menu. Just think of it as a disease is like reading us like a menu. And they look at a human being and they go, okay, well we can't really do this because they don't do the same thing every day. They're not methodical in the way they eat. They don't eat McDonald's 5 times a day. Now we do. Now look how much sicker the world is getting. I mean, you have these movies like Sicko that's coming out, and all these movies that are really basing their ideas on this fact. But it's easy to read our biogenetics now. It's easy to mimic what we're going to do tomorrow and the next day and the next day, because we do the same thing every day. Before we didn't. Before we had vegetables. Before we had this variety of foods. And now we're not. So with kids, the other problem is supplement companies. I work for a massive supplement company, for Muscle Tech, and it's one of the best ones in the world, and they make great supplements for adults. They won't touch anything for children because it's a scary subject. It's a taboo subject. Because a child, if they don't feel well, they'll blame the supplement. So no supplement company is coming forward, so I've actually started developing some things on my own.
And we are back with Christian Boeving today talking about the growing problem of fat kids in America, basically.
Sums it up.
You were mentioning supplements. Do you recommend supplements for kids?
Really, I try not to recommend supplements for kids. Supplements are made for adults. Like there's the whey protein. There's great protein powders out there. For an adult, for myself, if I have more than 2 whey shakes a day, no matter how good of a quality the whey protein is, I'll get a stomach ache. It'll really hurt a kid. We are not made to take in supplements. Really, for the most part, even though I represent a supplement company, even though I believe in the supplements 100%, I try to eat as much natural food as I can. The only time I'll have a supplement is if I'm traveling and I miss a meal. It's worse to miss a meal than anything, so I'll just have a supplement for that. I'll have a protein shake. I might have a protein bar. A shake is always better. For a kid, I would not recommend that. A kid needs that food. A kid needs the nutrition in there. If it's natural in the world, it's good for you, pretty much.
Well, obviously, you hit the gym and work out at the gym. Would you recommend taking kids to the gym and working out with them at a young age, or what point did you start working out?
Well, believe it or not, I started working out when I was far too young. My dad used to tell me, I saw Conan the Barbarian when I was 11, and that sparked my whole interest. And my dad said, you can't work out until you're 16. It'll stunt your growth. And I was like, yeah, whatever, Dad. So at 14, I went down to his little weight set. I started working out like crazy. I didn't gain a pound, but I worked out like crazy. And over the years, I have stopped at 6'1". I'm the shortest Boeving in 5 generations. I have my dad 6'5", my brother 6'7", my grandfather 6'5". I'm 6'1", and they basically say that because I started training harder, my bones, the bones basically became more dense too fast, and I didn't grow as tall. And they're finding that out with kids if you work out too young. But a kid needs to go out and play. So you definitely
don't recommend.
Absolutely not. At 14, they can go in and kind of learn a little bit, you know, play. They don't need to go bench press and squat and deadlift or anything like that. But they can go in and do pull-ups and sit-ups and learn some of the basic stuff that they use their own body as weight. They can start working out when they're 15 or 16.
15 or 16.
And that's about the point when they can start taking supplements on a very minimal level. When they're
Did you hear, 18. By the way, about that kid? I think he was 16-year-old, the one who was killed. He was working out alone, like about 16 years old. His father had been warning, like, don't overdo it. And the bar fell down on his neck, and it didn't break his neck, but apparently it trapped him in a way, and it suffocated him. And he, for whatever reason, he couldn't get the bar off. But he actually.
Wow.
So
I did not hear
16,
about that.
But,
that's pretty bad.
But even but about that age though, you can start working out and
obviously not heavy, not that way. But yeah, you start working out. But you know, it's once again, it's the foundation. You have to build a foundation. And for myself, you know, I've been a competitive bodybuilder for years and years, and now I'm not. I do more acting and modeling and speaking and things like that. But I'm 245 pounds today.
245.
I work out 3 days a week.
How much were you at 16?
I was 148 pounds until I was 18.
Wow.
Believe it or not, yeah, it was the torturous years. I try to forget that. Thanks for bringing up such a painful subject. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, it's also encouraging, I think, for the people in the audience, and the kids can realize they can be 18 and be 150 pounds. And
absolutely. I mean, the reason I was 148 is because I hadn't stopped growing. I was still growing taller. And, you know, you can't.
How tall were you then?
I was 6'1", actually.
6'1", okay.
I stopped at 6'1". Actually, I was 6'1" at 16, so I don't guess I was growing too much taller. I don't know where that weight was going.
Wider or bigger.
My metabolism was too fast or something. But you're not supposed to start gaining weight. Your body does what comes naturally. So if you're still growing taller, you're not necessarily going to get bigger. Your muscles aren't going to start to get more developed until that stops. So don't try to force it, because you'll wind up like me, a midget.
A midget at 6'1".
A 6'1" midget.
For the younger kids who were too young to work out, are there you talked about natural activities, are there things you'd recommend for outside kind of things?
Just playing. I mean, if you're if we're talking about a 5 or 6 year old, just going outside and playing on the playground, it doesn't take much to spark that interest in a child. You know, if you go out and maybe they're screaming and crying, I don't want to go out to the park. The second you get them out to the jungle gym, boom, it's like a duck to water. A 10-year-old, 11-year-old kid, they might be a little bit more stubborn. Then you have to instigate it a little bit more. Let's go bike riding. Let's go mountain biking. Let's go to the ocean. Let's do something fun outside. But that will spark the interest in physical fitness. You have to make it fun. I mean, if it's not fun, who wants to do it? I mean, you don't hear anybody going, hey, let's go do some Chinese water torture. Yeah. It's not fun. I've tried it twice.
But maybe gathering around the TV isn't the best plan.
It's not. You know what? That should be a reward. I remember when I was a kid, I would do my homework, I'd go out and play. Well, first I'd do my homework, I'd go out and play, and at the end of the night I'd watch TV for 30 or 45 minutes, and I was completely content. That was kind of like the getting me ready for bed kind of phase. I wanted to go out and play. It was more fun. I mean, I don't know, my eyes hurt after 30 minutes of the computer. Maybe I'm just not made for that, but being on the computer to me just isn't fun. Maybe I don't understand the new generation, but I do understand that if they don't stop what they're doing, they're not going to live a happy, healthy life. They're not going to get everything they can out of life, and they deserve it. Everybody deserves a chance to be happy and healthy, and people don't even know what it feels like we were talking about earlier. You've got to at least try it. And one thing, here's a small thing, it's a little tidbit. When I do seminars, I always try to grab one tidbit of information that makes people go, what? Every human being is lactose intolerant. Did you know that?
No.
Every human being. And people go, I drink milk all the time. Yeah, you do. Your body's used to it. Try going off milk products for 1 month. Just 1 month. No cheese, no dairy, no nothing. For 1 month, then try it again. Try to reintroduce it into your body. You're completely lactose. You can't do it. We're not made to drink milk after the age of 2.
After 2?
Yeah.
So you think kids should give up milk too?
Well, I think that kids need to be more aware. I mean, I still like ice cream on my cheat day. I think that we just need to be more aware of how foods react to our body. And my point for that was, we put so much junk into us. Right. We don't know what our body's doing with it. We see us getting fat, but what happens before we get fat is the internal side of things are going haywire first, and then we start to get fat. I mean, you have to do something to your body to make the cells go, okay, let's start to get fat. And you can never get rid of a fat cell. You can only shrink it. Unless you have liposuction or growth hormone, which is a whole different subject, you can never get rid of a fat cell. You can only shrink it down, which means it's going to be that much easier to get back.
So maybe cut back on the fast food a bit? Is that a good rule of thumb?
Cut back on the fast food completely. Let that be a treat. You know what I mean? If you're going to have fast food, let it be in the afternoon, late in the afternoon. It's a reward for some reason. It shouldn't be a mainstay in your diet.
Well, somehow, I mean, first of all, I wish you well with the sports camps. I think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
God knows, as you said, I think the young people need it and the country needs it. Somehow, with all of the other activities you're involved in, you still find time for the movies. You've got, what, I think 4 movies coming down the pike, is that right?
3.5.
3.5.
Well, I did, it's been an interesting year. I did The Kingdom of Heaven, was the last big movie I did, and it was 3.5 months in North Africa. That was the one with Orlando Bloom.
I saw that, yeah.
Whew, that was a long 3.5 months. But,
in Africa?
In North Africa, yeah. They built this castle in the middle of the Sahara Desert, and I could never figure out just why. Like when I flew in and I landed and fly into Casablanca, and you drive to this place called Ouarzazate, which means hell, I think, in English. But we take a car from Ouarzazate out to this castle, and you see it on the horizon. It's beautiful. And all of a sudden, as you get closer, it's this full-scale castle. And I kept asking, why did they build it so far out? Well, the reason they built it so far out is so nobody would run away, literally, because it was so hot.
Lose the extras. They all disappear.
There's 1,000 extras. Wow. And the other thing was, most of the, not to get into the terrorist thing, but most of the terrorists, as they know, come from Casablanca. We were 50, 60 miles from Casablanca. Most of the extras were from Casablanca, and they were all Muslim. Oh. So it was an interesting shoot, because myself and Edward Norton were the only 2 Americans on the entire movie. So, and he has his own trailer, and I'm kind of wandering through the crowds, and I hear, Osama bin Laden, good man. And you're kind of going, who said that? Who said that? I know it was one of you 1,000. So it was kind of hairy a couple of times, but it was, it's a life experience.
There's a lot of security around?
Not really.
No.
It's much more third world-ish kind of feeling than you would think. But that was a great experience. But then I did something called Beowulf, which a lot of people would know. It's the oldest Viking story in existence. But there's 2 Beowulf movies coming out this year. One has Angelina Jolie. It's the animated version. I did the live action. I played Grendel, the bad guy. And it's actually interesting because every actor, every piece on the set was created by people. Every piece of camera equipment was all donated. 100% of everything donated for the American Cancer Society. Not by them, but for them. And every penny of the proceeds, every penny goes to the American Cancer Society.
Fantastic.
So that's a really wonderful thing. I really was happy to be a part of that. And then I did a cool little action flick, just to do an action flick this year called Urban Assault. It was like martial arts, just to show that I can still kick some ass when I want to. And then I did a movie that I'm really excited about called Legend of the Red Reaper, or tentatively titled Reapers. It's kind of like Lord of the Rings, but I had a main character in there named Andre, but it's a trilogy. It's really going to be neat. It's we went to sword fighting school. It was like the thing that I always dreamed of doing as a kid. You with all big leather stuff, not like not like the Village People leather, but like Conan the Barbarian kind of stuff. And it was a lot of fun. It was a good movie. We filmed it in Florida. Just finished that, and I'm in the process of doing a mob movie. So I'm in the middle of doing that in New York.
A mob movie. All right. Up next, Jeff Gum will be joining us, and we'll be right back. And we are back with Christian Boeving. Today we were talking about the fat little kids, and joining us now is Jeff Galva, an actor and fitness model here in LA.
How you doing?
Great to have you here today. Jeff,
you
can see him on the cover of all kinds of magazines. And, we got him on Men's Health here. Actually, you've been on the cover of Men's Health a lot, haven't you?
Quite a few times.
Well,
yes.
you are the cover for Men's Health, I think. Is there anybody else on the cover?
Wait a second, he made those on the computer before he came in here. I saw him do it.
Photoshop those.
You guys found out?
And we've got you here. Actually, you did what, a cover with Anna Nicole Smith? Is that right?
It was an ad for
An ad.
a campaign she was doing, the PETA ads before she passed away. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's what that was.
What was that like working with her?
It was interesting. She's interesting person to work with.
Did you go out with her?
No, I didn't go out there.
Didn't date.
Are you lying?
No, it was specifically.
He would have come
lying,
forward
Jeff?
recently.
It was.
Jeff.
It was.
Lying? You are, aren't you? You are. I knew it.
Christian.
I'm kidding.
All right, no.
I'm kidding.
All right. No, it was a real professional setting. So, I mean, we didn't get too much time to interact, but because it was always, she was getting things done for her part of what she was having to do. They were getting us set up for what we had to do. So there wasn't really much time for
Not much time for dating on the side.
Yeah,
okay.
not too much time for that.
No, but,
Well, you've also worked with Drew Barrymore, I believe. Is that right?
Yes, that was. She is probably the nicest person I've ever met in my life.
As opposed to Christian, I can see why.
I don't know,
feeling?
man. I don't know. I think she's nicer than you too.
Really? I'm gonna get you, Drew.
What did you do with her?
My agent, I was doing just a bunch of fitness modeling and just modeling in general, and my agent set me up with a commercial. It was actually even a direct booking. I didn't even audition for it, and pretty much the next thing I knew, they didn't even tell me what it was for, but I show up on set and I'm sitting across from Drew Barrymore in this international commercial she did, playing, I guess like one of the, I guess you gotta see the commercial, but it's like one of the boyfriends that she's,
No, one of the boyfriends.
one of the boyfriends that she's seeing.
So is it like that Material Girl video with Madonna way back in the 80s? Or is that,
So it probably,
actually, I'm older than you.
something along those lines.
Wait, was that the one I was holding up at the beginning?
No.
No, that's something different.
Yeah.
So what is this? Because this looks like the Material Girl with Madonna, or the whole Marilyn
That's
Monroe.
the Anna Nicole
That is the Anna
shot.
Nicole.
Yeah, because
okay.
that's
Okay.
she tried to remake the Marilyn Monroe
yeah. Some like it hot. Kind of.
gentlemen prefer for free blondes thing.
And what's your newest thing? I heard you're working with Leah.
Yeah, Leah Remini is doing a new project called In the Motherhood. So if you IMDb it, it'll give you a lot of information about the show. But it's I was a guest star on the show with her. One of the episodes that's coming out, so it'll be fun to see. And then Chelsea Handler's also in the episode too. So and I play like, I'm not quite sure yet, but I play like an interest of Chelsea Handler, and it's a comedy. It's fun stuff.
Did you go out with her?
We're getting the gossip today.
I'm kidding. I'm just busting it.
You feel free.
Yeah,
to
I
answer
did.
that
I
one.
did. All
No
of
one's
them,
watching.
actually.
Come
You dated
on.
all of them.
All of them. Yeah, I'm busted. All of them.
Dude, I knew it. I heard about it. I heard it was on video, by the way.
Well, since you also do the fitness modeling, and Christian was telling us about the fat little kids we've got around here. Not that you're fat, you're obviously you're very trim. But
Thanks.
what age did you start working out? Were you ever a fat little kid? Or did
I
you?
played sports all my life, and I really actually didn't start lifting weights really until I was 18. So it's pretty much after I graduated high school, I got a gym membership, and I was addicted ever since. I went 5 days a week. I'd never miss. So I was always real adamant about keeping my workout and diet clean, and which is a lot of it. A lot of it's diet.
Well, diet's 90% of it, I think.
Yeah. So.
I mean, you can go to the gym all day long and work out and work out and work out. If you don't have the right diet, you're never going to change the way you look. Or you can just go to the gym twice a week, your diet's impeccable, and you'll change completely.
Yep.
So it's much
Now,
more
you
simple.
actually have the problem, you said, as an actor, though, that you actually have to keep your weight down.
That's
Meaning
true.
not put on muscle.
That's true. It's I started out when I was doing a lot of when I started out fitness modeling, I was about 187 pounds.
You massive freak.
and
How tall are you?
I'm 5'9", 5'10", in the range. I'm not 5'9", and I'm not 5'10", so I always like to
You're 5'9"
up it as
and a
much,
quarter.
get every little centimeter I can out of that. So I'm about 172 pounds now.
172 pounds.
Yeah, my manager Robin Brooks, she kind of discussed with me that if you want to have that size on you and go for those roles, just know you're going to be limited and you're going to be typecasted and kind of pigeonholed into those roles. But if you can drop the weight down a little bit, we can plug you into to a lot of other areas and make you more marketable. So I took the advice and I did it, and it's been going good so far. So Yeah.
Okay, well, great. Well, thank you both very much for being here today.
Thank you,
Christian Boeving and Jeff Gum,
Thank
both
you.
part of Icon Men.
Yeah.
That's
you can
right.
see him Jeff on the cover of Men's Health, and photo here of Christian. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next time.